He bought an empty planet to live alone until starving huntresses surrounded him. Finally, a male the knife slipped. The knife slipped. Alex Trevan cursed under his breath as a thin line of blood welled up on his thumb. The wooden figurine, half-carved, something that might have been a bird once, tumbled into the ash at his boots. He pressed the cut against his jacket and watched the blood darken the fabric. Stupid. Careless. But his hands needed something to do out here. Something other than checking his perimeter every 30 seconds or counting the rations he'd already counted twice today. The campfire was dying. Just embers now, pulsing faint orange in the growing dark. The wind carried the dry, metallic smell of the plains, and far off, too far to pinpoint, something howled. Not an animal. Alex fed another stick into the fire and sat back on his heels. The stars were sharp tonight, hard points of light in a sky that never felt like home. 3 months since the crash. 3 months since the Aquila tore itself apart in atmosphere and scattered its crew across a world no one had bothered to name yet. 3 months since he'd been alone. He picked the figurine out of the ash and brushed it clean. The bird's wings were uneven, its head crooked, but it had shape now. Purpose. He smiled faintly despite himself. "Guess you're stuck being ugly," he muttered. A sound made him freeze. Footsteps. Not heavy. Not careless. Slow. Measured. Alex slid his knife into a reverse grip and rose silently, eyes scanning the darkness beyond the firelight. "Come on," he called softly. "If you're going to kill me, at least do it before the fire dies." Silence. Then, a shape stepped into the light. The stranger. She was tall. Taller than him by a head. Her skin shimmered faintly green-gold, catching the firelight in ripples. Her eyes, too forward, too slightly higher, blinked independently as they adjusted to the glow. Alien. No weapon raised. No armor. Just layered cloth and a long scar down one arm. Alex didn't lower his knife. She studied him with an intensity that made his skin prickle. "You bleed," she said finally, her voice low and careful, accented but clear. "Yeah," Alex replied. "Happens when you're clumsy and bored." Her gaze flicked to the figurine. "You carve." "Badly." A pause. "You are alone," she said. Alex snorted. "Observant." She stepped closer to the fire, heat washing over her. He noticed then how thin she was. Not starving, yet, but close. "My name is Sarai," she said. "Of the Hollow Plain." Alex nodded once. Alex Trevan. Of nowhere useful. Her lower eyes softened. A sign of empathy, maybe. Or hunger. "You have food?" she asked. Alex glanced at his pack. 3 days left if he stretched it. "Some," he said. She did not ask for it. Instead, she surprised him. "May I sit?" Sharing the fire. They sat opposite each other, firelight between them like a fragile treaty. Sarai held her hands out to the warmth, sighing softly. "The nights grow colder. The herds move north." "I'm not following herds," Alex said. "I'm following a beacon." "You will die before you find it," she said simply. Alex smiled thinly. "That's encouraging." She tilted her head. Truth is not meant to comfort. He couldn't argue with that. He reached into his pack and tossed her a ration bar. She caught it reflexively, eyes widening. "For the record," he said, "that's me being friendly. Not submissive. Not stupid. Friendly." She studied the bar, then met his eyes. Understood. She ate slowly, reverently. When she finished, she surprised him again by pushing half of it back toward him. "You need strength to walk," she said. Alex stared at it. "Most people would have taken a whole thing," he said. She shrugged. "Most people are dead." The night watch. They took turns watching the dark. Alex learned that Sarai's people avoided fires. Predators learned to track them. She learned that humans needed heat more than pride. At some point, she noticed the figurine in his hands. "What is it?" she asked. "A reminder," Alex said, "that I can still make something instead of just surviving." She considered that. Survival without meaning is slow death. Alex looked up sharply. "You say that like you've lived it." Her jaw tightened. "I have." The howling came closer that night. Sarai rose in one smooth motion, eyes scanning the plains. Hunters, she said. Not animals. Alex stood beside her. How many? Enough. The chase. They ran. Fire abandoned. Camp scattered. Alex cursed himself for not packing faster, but Sarai moved like she'd been born into the dark, guiding him between stone outcroppings and dry gullies. Blaster fire scorched the ground behind them. Slavers. Alex felt rage flare, hot and dangerous. They ducked into a narrow ravine. Sarai turned, eyes fierce. I will draw them, she said. You hide. Not happening? Alex snapped. I'm done hiding. She stared at him. Then she smiled. Good. They set a trap with what little they had. Loose rock. A narrow choke point. Alex's last flare. When the slavers charged into the ravine, confident and loud, Alex triggered the flare directly beneath the rockfall. The explosion thundered. Stone came down like judgment. When the dust settled, silence followed. Alex leaned against the wall, chest heaving. Sarai looked at him with something like awe. You fight like one with nothing left to lose, she said. Alex wiped blood from his brow. Funny thing. Once you accept that, you get real dangerous. Morning. They reached Sarai's settlement by dawn, a hidden hollow shielded from the wind. Her people watched Alex warily, hands near weapons, but Sarai raised a hand. He is under my protection, she said. Alex blinked. That was fast. She looked at him. You shared food. You fought. You stayed. Fair enough. They treated his wounds. Gave him water. Real water. As he drank, Sarai watched closely. You could leave, she said. Your beacon. Alex thought of the empty nights. The counting. The silence. I think, he said slowly, I found something worth staying for. She nodded. Good. Epilogue. Weeks later, Alex carved again, better this time. Birds that looked like birds. He taught children how to sharpen blades safely. How to build fires that didn't scream their location to the sky. Sarai watched him one evening, holding the first figurine he'd ever carved on this world. The ugly one. It survived, she said. So did I, Alex replied. And for the first time since the crash, the dark didn't feel quite so empty.